in a great situation. But we're going to see how it all plays out off the final turn. Keith Grant on the inside, Roman Kamyab on the outside, and we're racing up to the first corner. And it's a great start from Grant. He's actually held off, but he's pulled across. And watch out for Dan Aleman. Aleman, the Swiss, is going to try and move past not just one, but both of the front row men. They bang wheels. And who's come out of the turn? It's Roman Kamyab. He actually aligned himself there perfectly from the outside to get back across the road to the inside again. And Roman Kamyab hits the front. That was well read by Kamyab. It looked as though he's going to drop to third initially. Now Aleman dives in for the inside line, but Kamyab keeps the car flowing right round the outside. Aleman tucks back in, dives in on the inside line. But watch Kamyab. He's going to go slow in, fast out, and will take the move, and so will Grant. So Aleman down to third place. That is great maneuvering from the two Fusion boys. They took one step back to go 2 steps forward.
Really good teamwork, but not so much as trying to go around the outside. That's not going to work there for Grant as he goes diving down the outside where there wasn't enough room to go for the move. Gets squeezed onto the curb, and the grass is the inevitable option for Grant as he goes into the corner. Kamyab had no idea that he was there, so you can't place the blame on him. But that's such a shame after great teamwork to get to the front of the grid for Kamyab and Grant. Another spinner there for the 36. So that's going to be an issue there for what looks like Karin Rostad. Unfortunately having a spin and will be lost out there. But Grant.
Oh no, that's Kamyab! Kamyab slowing! The race leader Roman Kamyab is slowing on the main straight. All of the big names in this one are slowing to a crawl, and it looks to me as though Roman Kamyab is out from the lead. That is devastating. So we've lost Dan Aleman losing places down the field. We lost Keith Grant on the opening lap because he ran wide, and now Roman Kamyab at the end of lap 1 comes to a stop on the home straight. That is disastrous, and that means that briefly Jack McLaughlin has taken the lead of this one. The Irishman has gone through into the lead. So we've had 4 different leaders as Roman Kamyab kicks his kart in frustration. That is absolute fury from Roman Kamyab down at turn 1. Up on the inside, the 52 of Peruzzi. Now going wheel to wheel there with the 59 of Polisson. So that is Theo Polisson trying to work his way through. But it's a very dramatic start to this race. I can't believe that we've had so much happen in such a short space of time. Grant on a spin. That's the 33 going around. That's Patrick Christiansen, and another driver had to take avoiding action of the Falcon. I couldn't quite see who that was dropping positions, but we're going to see it as they come through at the end of the lap. So now it is the Oliver Rowland Motorsport driver, Jack McLaughlin, that leads this race in front of Connor Clancy of George Gibbons Motorsport and Alex Butler, who is suddenly in third position. Great work from these 3. They've all made up 4 places apiece. They started 5th, 6th and 7th. They are now 1, 2, 3.
Yep, so yellow flags going into the first corner. Obviously that being for the recovery of Kamyab's car. But from 1-2 to Fusion to both being out and retiring from this race is the last thing you want to see as a team boss. And with so much potential for this race and with the amount of pace that they had going into it, it's such a shame to see the issues that have already happened on these first 2 laps. But a great battle going on right now between the 34 as he's going to go for the switchback. It's going to be a tight move for the ORM, but he will get it back once again. Up at the front end, that's McLaughlin still battling for his position from Clancy. Clancy had a little look, but we go down the back straight. Is he going to try for it again? He's going to look on the inside into the middle of the track. It's going to be up to the inside from Clancy, but watch for that switchback from McLaughlin. He's not able to execute this time as Clancy promotes himself into lead now.
This is quite a significant opportunity for Connor Clancy because it's only really in the latter stages of 2021 that the George Gibbons Motorsport team based out in the United Arab Emirates really started to have a go at European competition. They felt they were ready. They felt they could take on the challenge. And if this team is able to throw a candle to the likes of Fusion and ORM, then that shows you just how much hard work and good development the George Gibbons Motorsport squad is taking on. It's not easy to come to Europe when all you've known is the racing in the UAE, as this is a terrific squabble. We've got Butler now making his bid on the inside to hang on to third position from the challenge of Dean Hugendorn. So that is Hugendorn trying to get through into third place, and then Antoine Venon is trying to break through as well into the top 3, and he remains in P5 for the moment as the rain continues to come down here at Le Mans. But this will be significant for Connor Clancy if he is able to pick up a victory up against the might of the ORM and Fusion squadrons. Then that just shows you how much of a development GGM have been making as a squad in Europe. Let's not forget that they come from a country where rain is almost unheard of in the height of the karting season there. So it's an amazing opportunity for Conor Clancy, the young man from the United Arab Emirates, who is making the team very much the heroes of the hour at the moment.
Outstanding adaptation to the conditions right now from Conor Clancy. As you mentioned, not used to racing in these wet conditions, never mind over here in Europe. So we go down the home straight and down towards the first corner. This is now going to be the penultimate lap of the race, so not long left for McLaughlin to respond if he wants to get himself back into the lead of this race. Conor Clancy seems to have it sealed right now, but just one mistake will put him in the clutches of McLaughlin and leave him vulnerable for an overtaking opportunity.
So as they continue, Clancy is going to try and shake off McLaughlin. McLaughlin has got a little bit of a gap between himself and then this great trio battling away for third place. This is Butler, Hugendorn and Venon. Then it is Flavio Gaida, who is up to sixth position now past Théo Polisson, side by side. Is this going to be the opportunity to dive in on the inside? Well, Venon drives around the outside of Dean Hugendorn. So that's really nicely handled from Antoine Venon. And so the Belgian driver puts himself into position. That's the RSD karting team working their way forward into fourth place. You've got 5 different teams in the top 5 places now. With Flavio Gaida moving in front of Théo Polisson. Leo Peruzzi still keeping himself as competitive as possible. Dan Aleman is kind of stuck in a rut there now in 9th position in front of Alexis Genolet. Then it is Anton Bouchard. And in 12th, that is Jaden Sopiron. And then Manois Charbonnier in front of Marlon Marchand. How has Keith Grant been getting on? Well, he's worked his way up to 17th, just in front of Milan Becciu, the driver for the Eichmanns Grand Prix team, still making his international debut at this level. But still a very tough run up at the front end of the field. Conor Clancy is keeping it nice and tidy. What a dramatic X30 mini qualifying heat this has been. We lost Grant when he went off the road. Aleman got skated wide and is now just on the outer fringes of the top 10. Roman Kamyab led the race, but obviously the kart coming to a crawl on the way down to the first corner. Absolutely unprecedented drama coming into this first X30 mini qualifying heat, but for Conor Clancy, this is a breakthrough victory if he can hold on to it, and a big one in terms of his confidence. Yeah, an outstanding race from him right now. Really took the reins of this race when it came to him the most. He saw the opportunity open in front of him and he grabbed it, and he's held on to it for the remainder of this race. He's controlled the pace and hasn't had any challenges from drivers behind. Manages to get past McLaughlin earlier on in this race, and from then on it's been a race of his own. It's just been a race against the clock right now for Clancy. He'll round the fight in a couple of corners and he will be victorious in his first X30 mini heat of the day. Riley Cranham got the win in the first qualifying heat. Then it was Kit Bolowski who romped away to the second. Now it's going to be Conor Clancy who breaks the Fusion trio of race heats. And look, he even has the joy there to bang the steering wheel a little bit there. He knows what he's achieved. You don't tend to see a lot of emotions from drivers when they win a qualifying heat because it's not that big a deal as far as they're concerned. They've obviously got to get there into the pre-final and the final. That's when it really matters. But you can't just help it when this is your first major breakthrough victory in an international competition. And Conor Clancy just can't resist a little fist bump in the air. And that's exactly what this means when you've been pushing so hard, when you've been working week after week after week, just trying to improve your own speed, your own confidence, your own presence of mind. Look, he's celebrated quite a bit there on this lap, is Conor Clancy. This means a lot to him, and he has every right to. It's not every day that you get a driver from the UAE charging their way forward in their first heat of the week in the IWF to put on a show. So Conor Clancy comes of age, and this is a big moment for him and for the country as well. Yeah, it'll really kickstart his career here for obviously Conor Clancy. So with that victory now being under his belt, he knows what the kart is capable of. He knows what he's capable of as a driver and what they can do as a team. A victory goes his way this time round, but will we see it continue? And I think it showcases what he could do for the rest of the week. He has a great chance to win the whole thing. Conor Clancy in front of the Irishmen, Jack McLaughlin and Alex Butler, then Antoine Venon and Dean Hugendorn from Flavio Gaida and Théo Polisson, Leo Peruzzi and Dan Aleman, then Alexis Genolet rounds out the top 10 from Anton Bouchard and Jaden Sopiron, Manois Charbonnier ahead of Marlon Marchand, Mathis Bragio, Keith Grant recovers to P16 in front of Athanasios Zachos and Milan Becciu, Lucas Bonhomme and Max Grassini from Aran Bordanova and Sam Hujon, then it is Patrick Christiansen from Stan Fajot, Ina Rostad, Antonius Voros and Quentin van Leuven. The one retirement from the race, and it couldn't have been any more dramatic if you tried. Roman Kamyab, that's a big one as far as his week is concerned. To drop out when you had a kart underneath you that was looking good for the win, That is devastating for Roman Kamyab, but it's not over. He's still got a very decent weekend ahead of him. He can recover that from the back of the grid. Now, if you thought it was intense in X30 Mini,